Good morning guys, 4 o'clock in the morning. We have just finished airing our tires. There's absolutely nobody by the filling station, and we're just waiting on the rest of the crew. As soon as they are here, we are off to the Gumaha rest camp number 1, which is about 700 kilometers. That'll be the first stretch of the trip, and it's also located in the Makgadigadi game reserve. See you guys then.
Welcome to the Bucket List Adventures. My name is Rudolph, and thank you for joining into the first episode of our Khwai road trip series. On this first episode of the Khwai road trip series, we would be leaving Gaborone very early in the morning, going through Mahalape, Palape, through Sarawe, all the way to Letlakane, where we would be refueling for the first time, getting something to eat, making sure the tires are correctly inflated for the tar road, as well as making sure that the trailer is still hitched to the vehicle. From there, we would visit the first site, which is the Xanikaga Fossil Footprints. This Xanikaga Fossil Footprint site is a monument which is 20,000 years old, and it's one of the few rare sites documenting the desiccation of the Makgadigadi Plateau Lake. It is at this site where the animals came to drink by the receding waters of the lake and apparently got stuck in the mud and died. The bones of these animals, together with the prints, were dried, solidified into a calcrete-like matrix, and even though no detailed scientific research has been conducted at this site to establish exactly which species of animals were fossilized here, the prints do suggest that antelope, possibly large birds of prey, and some predators also died here. The fossil remains are very important as they can help the reconstruction of the climate in the Makgadigadi region for the last 20,000 years. Even though we had coordinates and we were following the latest GPS maps on the Garmin systems, we were still misled by these little two-spur roads, as well as the area which looked so similar around every turn, that we made a right turn and carried on for another 45 minutes to an hour in search of this little site that we just couldn't find. It took me almost 4 years to get this place, and now being so close, I was misled by all of these little roads. We constantly ended up hitting a dead end, turning around, going back into the bush. I did it before, where I searched for almost 2 hours and still couldn't find anything, and this time it felt like it's going to be the same thing. Searching every single turn that we had, we ended up driving around the whole island area of this Makgadigadi pan. After traveling and zigzagging through the bush for over an hour, hitting dead end to dead end, we stumbled upon a piece of fence where we knew this could be the site that we were looking for the last 4 years. And just pushing a little bit forward against this fence, we found the Xanikaga Fossil Footprint site. I was so relieved to actually see this site after 4 years of searching.
We just arrived at the Xanikaga Fossil Footprints. It's apparently 20,000 years ago where the animals and some prey birds, and they say large birds, came to drink and actually got stuck in the mud and then got solidified in the mud, the bones and the prints. So it's on the edge of the Makgadigadi pans. We're
drove about 10-12 kilometers in the bush looking for the actual spot. You can see this was like a water pan, so I just walked about 20 meters from the sign that I just stood by, and you can see there it looks like antelope tracks or a print that's stuck in this piece of rock. Clearly this is a piece of rock, and then if you follow the track, there's another one there. There you see the little toe, the spore. There's another one there. You can see this little print there. There's another little one there under this bush. Beautiful. Here's another one in this fossilized rock at the Makgadigadi pans. Alright guys, we're on our way back to the car, and then we've got another 150-200 kilometers maybe to the Gumaha camping site. After leaving these fossil footprints, we still had a 150-kilometer drive through the dry, hot and very windy salt pan plains of the Boteti area on our way to the town of Gumaha. It was here in Gumaha that we had to use the iconic ferry to cross the Boteti River. This hand-operated ferry is an iconic ferry that has pulled hundreds of vehicles over this section of the Boteti River in the rainy seasons. This ferry has always been operated by these 2 or 3 gentlemen, which you would always find here next to the river. If by chance you get there and you do not find them, you won't have to wait for too long before word of mouth spreads, and they would be running along to assist you into quickly crossing the river. After managing to safely land the 2 fully loaded Hiluxes that were loaded together on the ferry on the opposite side of the Boteti River, we still had to register our campsite bookings at the Makgadigadi Park's gate before making the last 8 to 10 kilometer drive through the park, where we could set up camp, start our fires and have the first cold one for the day. I would like to thank you for joining us on this first trip of our Khwai road trip series. I hope you enjoyed the first episode, and I hope to see you on the next one, where we would be cutting through the Makgadigadi Park's thick sand to reach our next stop, which would be the majestic Baines Baobab.